What I love so much about fall is the fact that I can drastically change up my fragrance wardrobe, especially with fall in this particular area where some days I'm almost busting out some heavier winter fragrances because it'll dip into the freezing temperatures pretty quickly. I love my summer fragrances, but towards the end, end of August, when it's just been blazing hot for months, I'm ready for something different. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to go over what are, in my opinion, some of the best fall fragrances that have ever been released. And I view this in a couple of ways, one of which being these all kind of smell like the season of fall to me. They just have this kind of autumnal, autumn leaves falling type of smell, but also they tend to work phenomenal in the season of fall as well, just that temperature range. I've already done my top 10 fall fragrances list, designers anyway, and so, there's going to be some different choices in here that weren't in that video, as I'm now kind of rounding up a whole bunch of different stuff and compiling a list of what I think are some of the all-time best. I will provide links to all of these down below to discounters so you can pick them up at prices below retail. Also, on the community tab, I'm posting deals every day, multiple times a day. You're going to find some of the best prices on stuff around over there. Make sure you get subscribed so you see those deals show up in your community tab or your subscription feed so you don't miss out. First up, PACO RABANNE Pure Excess. There's something about this scent that just works so well, and again, it's a 2-for-1 deal. It just has this kind of sugary, sweet, kind of boozy, fresh smell that smells like fall. It's perfect for kind of the cozy hoodie season, but it also works great in fall temperatures because, again, it's a hybrid. It's fresh and it's sweet. It's boozy and sugary, but it has a little bit of a kind of a sparkling fizziness as well. It just, man, this stuff smells so nice. I love it. It's kind of one of those guilty pleasure fragrances. It's one that most people would kind of look down on a little, but I think is amazing. And I wasn't too crazy about it when it first came out. It took me a little while. The more I would smell it, the more I would pick up on different nuances that I didn't smell before and the first time. And so you'll find the more you smell this, it just gets better over time, at least for me, and maybe for you, or maybe it gets worse over time for you. But for me, I got lucky and just really started to love it. I think this stuff is top tier for the season of fall. Next up, Parfums de Marly LAYTON. Now you could go for this, or you could go for something like Hobdon. I've described that one as smelling like fall, but this one still also smells like fall, and in a little bit more of a wearable and versatile way, and in more of a mass-pleasing way as well. I think, looking at it from the most level-headed standpoint possible, this is kind of the, just a better buy and for the majority of people out there. I think Hobdon to some can be a little bit on the edge of maybe being a little bit challenging or whatever. This one just checks all the boxes easily. It's got cinnamon, apple, some tonka bean sweetness in here. This DNA smells fantastic. As soon as the weather starts to dip into that zone where it's not hot, it's also not necessarily cold. It's just kind of right there in the middle. It also works great when it is cold and a little bit chilly outside, but especially when you get into that in-between where it's just comfortable out, this one works great. It smells awesome. And at the time of you watching this only, right now, you can get this for $181 for 4.2 ounce full presentation at the second link down below. It's going to be selling out soon. This deal is going to be over probably in another day or so. So don't wait around. All Parfums de Marly's are on sale for similar prices. Hit the link down below and scoop this up at that steal while you can. You don't have too much more time. Next up, ISSEY MIYAKE NUIT d'ISSEY Parfum. So they have this, and they also have it in an eau de toilette version. The Parfum usually only costs about $10 more or a little bit less, $8 more. Just go for this one. It's got leather, it's got vanilla, there's some black pepper in here, some nice woods. It's silky, it's creamy, it's smooth, so it's got sweetness, but then it also has this masculine quality from the leather in here. Now the leather isn't too overbearing, it's not too animalic. Don't see leather and think of something like Tuscan leather by Tom Ford or something like that, where it's kind of earthy and a little bit more challenging, so to speak. It's a very smooth, light leather that really just works in unison with the other notes going on, just as a nice balance overall. When you're talking price point, when you're talking uniqueness, scent quality, and performance, This has it all wrapped up into one, and it smells amazing in the season of fall. Another one of my favorites, one that I got relatively early on in my collecting days, Gentleman Eau de Parfum by Givenchy. One that for whatever reason has been a little bit elusive on discounters, although now is finally back in stock for a price below retail. I don't know what was up with that for the longest time. Even throughout summertime, it wasn't in stock on discounters. Kind of strange, kind of in the off season here in the US that it was out, which is a little bit backwards, but whatever, it's back now. This one has vanilla, iris, and some black pepper, some sweet tonka bean as well. This is going to be similar to Dior Homme Intense and Valentino Uomo Intense. I've broken this down multiple times before. I'm not going to spend time on it. This is going to be the most mass-pleasing version of all of those, basically. So it focuses heavily on the vanilla. You still get the iris, but not nearly as much as in the others. It's going to be the most mass-pleasing and the easiest to digest, especially if you're newer to collecting and newer to sweet fragrances and newer to iris fragrances. If you want to dive into that category, this is a great place to start. And because it's not quite as heavy and in your face as some of the others, I think it makes this one great for fall in particular. You know, it just has that nice balance to it. And, you know, you can get into some of the heavier ones for wintertime. Ferragamo Uomo Signature. It's got tonka bean, coffee, and leather. Big fan of this one as well. I love the original. I love that tiramisu kind of chocolatey, gourmand dessert smell that it has. It smells fantastic. It really sets it apart. But not everyone will like that. It can be very overbearing. You got to have a sweet tooth, and probably both ways to appreciate that one, scent and taste. Because if you like sweets, you know, taste-wise, you'll probably appreciate the smell. And so it kind of goes hand in hand there. This one is still very sweet, but the leather and coffee does a great job to balance some of that out and makes it, again, to me, just a little bit more wearable and generally probably more likable to a larger audience. Because of that, I think it works great in fall. You know, it's another one of those deals where it'll work great in wintertime. Really, all of these will work great in winter. But there's something about this one that just kind of has this fall smell to it. Maybe it's the coffee, and sometimes I associate that coffee fragrances with fall over winter sometimes. I don't know what it is. I just think this one works amazing in this season when the temperatures are just kind of right there in the middle. And one that I believe made #1 in my top 10 fall designers list. So this one is a repeat, but you know, again, when we're talking about the best of all time, I'm not going to exclude it for reasons like that. So I'm just going to throw it in. Moustache Eau de Parfum. And this one here, man, I'm telling you, when you can get this one in stock for a discount, which you can right now, don't wait around. Don't think, oh, you know, I'll get it next week. Whatever, I'll get it in a month from now. Because this is the type of scent that when it goes out of stock, it goes out of stock. And when you're looking at months until you can usually get a bottle again, generally. Not always, but generally. So especially now that we're heading into the prime season for this one, and even wintertime as well, this one typically goes pretty quick. I would get one of these while you have the opportunity to do so. You're looking usually at the $50 to $60 range for a 125 ml bottle like this. Hefty, strong, heavy bottle, nice cap. Scent is amazing. Benzoin, pink pepper, vanilla. Smells like Yves Saint Laurent tuxedo, but on a heavy, heavy budget. Talk about smelling unique and sexy and just amazing in the season of fall. This one literally smells like autumn, and I love every bit of it. This next one very much gets overshadowed by a couple of its other flankers that, well, of course, came after this because this is the original. And that happens, right? Whenever you release a new fragrance and then you start putting out flankers, 3, 4, 5 flankers, at some point that original is going to get overshadowed because the flankers are the ones that are getting all the talk and all the buzz. But this one here, even though it's the OG and the flankers have been out and they've really made some improvements, this is still an amazing, amazing scent, and it's L'Homme Ideal Eau de Toilette by Guerlain. Now, another deal with a couple in this line, EDP and the Extreme, and even stuff like Cool, good luck getting them. Same thing. When they show up on discounters, they'll be there for a little bit, they'll sell out, and they sell out. Crickets for months at a time, and you just can't get them again. But this one is usually always in stock, and you can get 100 ml testers of this for like $50, $52, which is unheard of when you're usually paying about $100 for Extreme in the EDP, even at discounters. Usually pretty close to that. This one's always available. It's always easy to get, and people still kind of overlook it. At this price point, it is an absolute no-brainer at all. This one has almond, tonka bean, and leather in here. So very much that DNA that you're familiar with if you've smelled the EDP and even the L'Intense version and stuff. But this one is just going to be lighter than the EDP. It doesn't have that cherry note, which to some people can smell a little bit stringent. This one's actually a little bit more smooth, but that almond is very prevalent. And I mean, that's what the DNA is based on. Kind of this dusty, powdery almond accord, some sweetness. This stuff is beautiful, very upscale, very classy, and great in the fall time. At this price point, it's worth a blind buy if you know what you're into. Starting to run down to the end, we have L'Homme Le Parfum. Love this stuff. It's got cardamom, lavender, vanilla. There's some iris in here as well. So I've described this one in the following way, and I think it's the easiest way to kind of just give you a baseline of what this is all about. Think of the original Le Male, you get that lavender here. Think of Ultra Male, that vanilla sweetness, minus the pear, and then on top of that, throw in some cardamom and some other spices. You get Le Male Le Parfum. So it's a hybrid of two, plus the addition of some other notes that aren't found in any of the others, like again, the cardamom. It smells phenomenal, very sexy. And of course, don't forget the iris that's thrown in here too. It's a little bit creamy and silky and not too strong at all. You know, it doesn't put it into the realm of Dior, Homme Intense and all of those, but it's there just enough to provide a little bit of a kind of a smooth balance to it, so it doesn't get too rough or spicy or edgy from the cardamom. Great flanker, fantastic stuff, very, very well done. And if you didn't like Ultra Male and you ended up skipping some other flankers, I think you should give this one a try. Just give it a sample, you know. I think it might impress you. Second to last, we have Hugo Boss The Scent. This is going to be Private Accord. Really can't go wrong with any of these. Private Accord just always happens to be one of my favorites. There's something about this DNA that smells so good, so addicting, and I don't know, just so satisfying. That's really what it is, because you smell this and you get that unique Maninka fruit note in here, and it's like, man, you don't smell that every day. Most other notes are used across a whole bunch of fragrances, popular men's scents and all that stuff, designer and niche, but this note in particular isn't used everywhere, and it sets this DNA apart in a great way. It also has a little bit of a classy and kind of mature and down to business smell. It doesn't really smell playful or anything like that. You know, it's a scent that you wear to work or just when you want to be taken seriously. And I think it smells great in the season of fall. And last up, Tom Ford Noir Extreme. Big fan of this one as well. It's all about the Kulfi note, which is a dessert of sorts. Never had it myself, but you know, you do get this gourmand, sweet, kind of vanillic accord in here. It smells so, so nice. This is another one of those addicting fragrances. You smell it once and then you're hooked. And believe it or not, this is one of those fragrances that I really wasn't loving at first. I didn't dislike it, but part of me was like, I don't get the hype here. I just don't see it. It wasn't until I continued to wear it and then it clicked. And then I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I see what is special about this one. So I encourage you, if you're checking this one out, the first couple times you wear it, you just don't really get the magic about it. Don't give up on it. Keep wearing it, keep testing it, and you might come around to it a lot. At least I know I did. And another deal, it could work great in wintertime. Performance is a little bit on the lower side for this one. And I find it to smell like fall. Just gives me that cozy fall feeling, and that's kind of what I use it for. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 of the best fall fragrances ever created, at least in my opinion. These are all winners and you can't go wrong with any of these. Again, links will be down below to discounters. Don't forget that Parfums de Marly sale. It's going to be ending in another day. And if not, the stuff is going to be selling out probably not long after you're done watching this. So jump on that deal while you can. A whole bunch of them for up to 57% off. That's crazy. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.